Wireless, and by the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Swing a hot shot into left field, backing up Olivares. That ball's going to carry and go off the top of the wall. A ringing shot off the bat of Matt Chapman. Guerrero is in to score. Varsho right behind him. It's another extra base hit for Matt Chapman.
Good team, man. Good starting pitching, good lineup. A team that won a lot of games last year, and you could argue that they're even better this year. It's not fun to lose, but I mean, there's 162 games.
When he gets up there, I feel like he's got a really good chance of getting on and getting everybody going.
The Great Bend Panthers softball team took on the Liberal High Indians on Thursday night, and they came away with 2 wins in doubleheader action. In the first game, the Panthers had to head to extra innings before getting a 7-6 victory, and then the second game was much less of a close contest, with the Great Bend Panthers winning 7-3.
Honestly, I think it was just the start. Got off to a good start. Anytime you're 200 through 3, it's a good start. So. Felt good.
I don't think it's many. I mean, I don't think it's more than 1 or 2 more, maybe 3. The guy gets it out. I mean, there's no question about it. And, he gets himself in position to compete 2 or 3 times a year, and it obviously takes a tremendous toll on him.
2-2 pitch. And there's a bullet out to center field, down for a base hit. Here comes Eddie. Here comes the throw. Play at the plate. Braves win it! A walk-off base hit for Orlando Arcia. And Sable hits one high and deep. Center field. That one's got to have a chance, and way gone! Over the wall, and then over the first ivy-covered wall. Beyond that, that is a spectacular home run.
I miss my job. I love my job, and I want to do my job for a long time.
Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM, where you find out about the breaking news very early. We'll just start with the last cut first. Mike Hesher at a press conference earlier this morning. A lot of people concerned that Mike, after his long illness, was not going to come back. But you heard it right there. Mike Hesher this morning at his press conference.
I miss my job. I love my job, and I want to do my job for a long time. I was manipulated into saying that.
That's not even what the question was.
And we had to do it 5 times to make everybody in here happy.
Good afternoon, everyone. After a day off, everyone's cheerful here in the studio today. Steve Webster joined by Aaron Clark, Mike Corson, and the one and only Mike Hesher. Welcome into the Friday show. On the program today, Randy Beck. He'll be talking Panther baseball. They play a doubleheader at Liberal today. Sports in Kansas contributor Connor Nickel joining the show. Some early impressions on the spring softball season and some early head coaching moves that have already been reported across the state, and how the dominoes could work, how the dominoes can fall. Maybe, if you have a girls' basketball job open or a volleyball job open, might want to hire that head coach because her son has one of the best players in the state in football and basketball. Just a thought. Kansas Pregame Magazine publisher John Betts will talk about the spring sports edition that's being delivered across the state this week. But first, before the sports headlines, sounds of the past 24 hours or so. The call on the Blue Jays Network. We've heard from all their announcers this week. Matt Chapman doubles home. He's a former Iuka Hustler, by the way. Could use him right now. Got a double in the first inning, scored 2. Toronto takes a 6-3 win at Kauffman Stadium. So the Royals, after that 7-game homestand that was going to build some momentum for the season, they go off to San Francisco, where they will play today. They are 1-6. In fact, things are going so bad right now, they didn't have their manager yesterday, Matt Quatraro, out with COVID-19. So that was Paul Hoover who served as the manager yesterday. Royals and Giants this afternoon. And, Hesh, why are there so many afternoon games today?
Well, it's opening day for several teams. I know.
See, that's okay. That's
home. It's not opening day, but home openers for several teams. And I didn't yell. Did I?
No, you didn't yell on that.
I watched that presser yesterday. I didn't know who that was because I don't know what Quatraro looks like. And then I heard him say that. I'm like, you're not going to be able to use that excuse all year just because you get beat. So it was 6-3, but it was kind of a misnomer. It was 6 or 7 guys on base until the 8th inning. They got 5 straight on, scored the 3 runs.
And had tying run at home plate with no one out.
And he belted one off the top of the fence that I think would have made it a 1-run game. So they made it interesting late, but the rest of the game was a doozy.
Royals baseball coming your way this afternoon at 3 o'clock in one of those rare Friday afternoon games for you. Aaron Clark, he had the call last night on B1043 The Point. Lady Panther softball team picked up a couple wins.
They did. It was fun to see the Lady Panthers get out to a hotter start than they did against Hutch on Friday. The games were actually postponed. They were supposed to take on Liberal at Liberal on Tuesday this week, or on Wednesday, but it was just ridiculously windy, so those games got postponed to a later date. But Paige Thexton got out to an incredibly hot start. I believe through the first 3 innings, she had only faced, 10 batters, struck out 4 of them through the first 3, and was really having a hot game through the beginning of the inning before some run support from the Panthers got them going early. I believe they scored 3 runs in the 4th inning, or in the 3rd inning, and they had a healthy lead before allowing Liberal to kind of squeak back at the end. Liberal scored 2 runs in the 6th inning and then 3 in the 7th. Panthers were able to secure a win in that first game off of some nice heroics from the freshman Catherine Mazouk. Had a couple of big moments so far this season. Last week, home run against Hutch sent them to extra innings. They actually didn't win that game that she homered in, but then in this game got on base and scored the winning run in the 8th inning.
Let's do the call.
Zook. When she comes to the plate, it worked perfect. Coming to the plate, Catherine Moe. Zook.
I thought that was her grandpa that was saying that in the stands.
Well, at one point, they were
Great
booing
job of
somebody.
mentioning that because her grandpa won't be out on pacing in front of the sidewalk when I get home today. Said, why did you mention that on...
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Taking care of that. She's off to a fine
she's
start as a
off
freshman.
to a great start as a freshman and highlighting some really youth that the Panther softball team has coming up, and encouraging to see.
You'll hear from Randy Beck coming up in just a little bit. I kind of squeezed some stuff off that because they're on the, they've got a roadie to Liberal today, but we'll hear from Randy Beck. They're taking on Liberal today, and he was talking about, he doesn't look like a leadoff hitter, Tyler Stulsatz, but he's making things happen atop the Panther batting order.
Yeah, and I can't see his average quite yet, but seemingly every game he's got multiple hits, extra base hits, coming around scoring.
And the most stoic home run trot you'll ever see.
What, he took the second pitch of the season yard, I think it was.
Well, it's not incredibly surprising that Tyler Stulsatz is stoic. That we saw it on the basketball court a couple times. As many charges as he'd take and just would get up and would look like nothing happened.
What's the Cheshire Cat? You guys hear that? He's got that Cheshire grin on his face. I always love that from Tyler. He kind of get that little side grin there.
Get the corners of the mouth upturned. He's gonna know he did something good, but he's gonna be reserved about it. It's nice.
Wait, I want to play. I think it's the next one after this one, but I got to guess.
Okay. Brooks Koepka talking about he was tied for first after the first round of the Masters. He shot a 65, and he was at 5 under. He had a pretty good day today. He backed it up today with a 67. Woo! He's got a 3-shot lead over Jason Day at the Masters.
There were some crazy odds. It was tempting to bet on those because there were some big names with like 4,000 to 1 odds. Or whatever the odds are, but it sounded like it paid well.
I believe if Tiger Woods manages to make the cut, he'll tie the all-time record at 22.
Oh, he's going to have to get a couple Sherpas to carry him around the golf course. You can't use a golf cart, but someone could carry him on their heads, right? Man, Tiger Woods, he's my guy. 74, and he gutted it out yesterday, so he's trying to finish it up today. And Mark Schlabach for ESPN wondering how many more times we're going to see him at Augusta with that hilly terrain that they have. But
so he's shot his age.
On the front nine?
No.
Okay. The call on 680, The Fan in Atlanta. Orlando Arcia hitting a walk-off single last night. Braves beat the Padres 7-6. Atlanta off to a great start this year. Was that the one you wanted to guess?
Maybe the next one, was it Bill Miller?
Bill Miller, yeah. KNBR in San Francisco.
That's what I thought.
And he also does Iuka Hustler games, announcing Blake Sable hitting his first career home run as an Iuka Hustler yesterday, and that gave the Giants a 4-0 lead over the White Sox. San Francisco goes on to win it 16-6, and Mike Hesher saying he loves his job from his press conference, announcing that he would not be stepping away as operations manager at Eagle Radio anytime soon.
Dispelling rumors.
There was a lot of them going around, but Mike, that was nice of you to go ahead and call that press conference. And
I
let
just wanted to
everybody-
make everybody sure, you know. I miss my job. I love my job, and I want to do my job for a long time. I miss my job. I love my.
What's funny is that now that you've got that in your little computer, we'll
It's
probably
gonna
hear it at
be
least once a
all
week.
over the place. I already know that.
You should make that his intro when he comes on, friend of the show. Just
Ooh, that's not
anything.
bad. We had some kind of, what do we have today, this morning? You had I can't remember. It was the Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah. Under My Thumb. That's his new theme song.
I'm under Webby's thumb.
No,
is what
no,
he
no,
said.
You're my boss. I respect you in many, many ways.
And not so many in other ways.
There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. It gives us some sports headlines here before we get to Connor Nickel. Barton. Brent Biggs saying this week that, they played well. I mean, they've lost 3 games going into yesterday's series with Seward. He said, you just haven't played well in the first game. Well, they got beat yesterday in the first game against Seward County. Beautiful day for baseball yesterday. They dropped the opener 4-3. Cougars bounced back, though, and they had a 9-run lead in the 5th inning, then had to hang on and win it 12-11. So Barton doesn't lose any ground. They're still 3.5 games ahead of Seward atop the Jayhawk standings. They will resume that series down. Is this liberal Great Bend week, or softball, baseball in high school? Let's see. We've got Barton at Seward tomorrow.
Just a couple of the hotel chains in Great Bend and Liberal could have gotten together and offered some package deals.
Did it say Seward was ranked, or was that Barton?
Barton was ranked.
I got you.
Yeah.
I was like,
But Seward had won 9 games after they beat the Cougars in the first game. That ended Barton's 9-game winning streak, and then the Cougars turned around and ended their 9-game winning streak. So some big boy baseball taking place in the Jayhawk Conference. Great Bend Soccer headed to Garden City yesterday, came away with a 10-0 loss. So Lady Panthers are now 1-3 on the season. They'll host Dodge City on Tuesday. The Big East Big 12 battle next year. KU will take on UConn in Lawrence in one of those matchups, and K-State will get to host Villanova. That'll be a pretty good matchup. That'll be in Manhattan. That'll be the Big East Big 12 battle next year.
Battle of the Wildcats?
You are absolutely correct.
Meow.
Is that the wild?
The-
Do that
that was-
again.
I was gonna say, yeah.
with gusto.
It's got something in its throat, I think.
Okay. I haven't heard that one at the K-State games, though. One more time. Come on. Okay.
We should have him keep doing it. He keeps getting more and more into it.
Okay, since I was brought this sheet earlier, I'm supposed to get to it on sports headlines, and I don't want to cut you out of any time here. Pre-state results, basically, from the KT Woodman in Wichita yesterday, where the Panthers were at.
So, very limited action with the 16, the 32, and the javelin going, but Great Bend had some elite kids, so it's all classes against the best in the state. Kendall Blessing goes third in the javelin at 137. The 2 kids who beat her are Division I kids, and then she was about 16 inches out of second place behind a girl who's going to K-State. Caden Esfeld, I think, got maybe third in the 3200, second. The big one that wasn't our kids, but we've seen the kids, the Elite 32, or the Elite Mile, basically. The girl from Stanton County comes out and runs a 4:50, 9th all-time in Kansas, beats the girl from Salina Central who broke all the records last year by 15 seconds. But, of course, that girl also ran the 2 mile. Addie Nicholson was in that 3200 elite race and got 6th. Matthew Mater goes up against the state's best in the javelin, the kid from Andale. He threw his best 167, so he's pretty high in the Class 5 ranks. So full slate of action today. We'll have a bunch more. Of the
She
kids
ran
up.
450.
First meet of the year. She's going to Tennessee, so she is a Division I commit. We expect big things. But they had her time before state last year at 454, and then she opens at 450. So, and it's not that big of a margin on the all-time list, so I expect her to make some moves this year.
She trains at the golf course there because there are no hills within 700 miles of that place. So they've got these big mounds on the golf course. Just run sprints up and back, up and back.
She's an interesting breed because she can obviously dominate the 2A 3200, and she's really one of the best in state history there, but she's actually a speed kid. I think her best races might be her 4 and 800. But then she's got the endurance probably to win most classes, but definitely 2A.
Okay, anything else today on sports headlines?
Fort Hays State is going to be the first NCAA university in Kansas to offer a women's wrestling program. It was recently announced yesterday. I actually saw that. Didn't have a chance to bring it up on Sports Day yesterday, but it's exciting development for...
That's the sport just continues to...
Exactly, kind of what I wanted to bring up. We've seen it grow in Great Bend a lot recently, and
I
Coach
can see it at
Brockelman.
Barton, right?
Exactly. I was going to bring up Coach Brockelman. Surely going to be looking to expand his footprint there at Barton, and it's really great to see. I hope to see a bunch of the other MIAA schools try to pick it up as well. You know, maybe a couple of other in-states, Washburn, Emporia State, Pitt State, get the MIAA involved.
Emporia State doesn't have any wrestling, do they?
No, they do not.
Where are they going to compete? Some long drives ahead?
It'll be virtually.
Well, they'll get the what are the Sock'em robots?
Well, probably. You just go against. There's junior college programs or things like that. So,
And there are schools with women's wrestling in the MIAA, I believe, because I want to say Nebraska Kearney has a fairly reputable women's wrestling program. I'll have to look into that.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, that's our sounds the past 24 hours or so. A big relief around here today. People wiping their brows. Hesh is coming back, so that's great to hear. And Mike Corson is going to be on coming up. He'll be talking with Randy Beck. Next, Connor Nickel. Some interesting coaching moves and some early looks at the returns from high school softball around the state. It's Sports Day here on a Friday.
And save money with new early college online savings. Starting March 20th, pay only $75 per credit hour on any Barton online course. That's a savings of up to $80. All online classes are eligible, including career technical and general education. Learn more at bartonccc.edu/earlycollege.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, this is Travis Thompson with Farmers Bank and Trust. Are you ready to become a homeowner? Make an appointment with one of our mortgage lenders today so we can help you turn your dream into reality. First-time homebuyer grant funds available to qualifying applicants. Come in and visit us today to see if you qualify. Farmers Bank and Trust in Great Bend, Albert, Larned, La Crosse, Kinsley, and Bazine. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The ants go marching one by one, we'll pass, we'll pass. The ants go marching one by one, we'll pass, we'll pass. They'll find a way into your home, eat your food and make it their own. The ants go marching into your home.
When the enemy marches on your gates, you need to take control. World Pest Control in Sylvan Grove, Otis, and Salina.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB. Here on the Friday show, Connor Nickel joins us right now. Sports in Kansas, covers everything. And just remember, Connor, that John Betts is coming up after you. So just, we can't keep Big John waiting, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's get right to it. We'll call you our softball insider, but we're going to talk about other things today on the program. But a lot of big matchups. High school softball yesterday.
Yeah, Thursday was a major day and a ton of big games. I want to start off with what the Indian softball team in Larned has done so far this season. It's been a really impressive turnaround. This is a program that has struggled for a long time. Their last winning season was 2014. They were 2-17 last year. Of course, lacrosse co-opted with TMP last year in baseball and softball. And this year, Larned and lacrosse are co-oping. And the softball program is now 4-4. And Alexa Ryersey, who is a lacrosse student, has been a key player for TMP in previous seasons, is now hitting .522 and helping Larned off to a really nice start. They swept Lions earlier this season, 2 really nice wins. They split with Buckland, and Buckland is a legitimate 2-1A state contender. That's a really experienced team. And so what Larned has done this season, again, in that new co-op, has been really impressive. Tegan Walker, who was a Larned player last year, is back. Kenzie Reinhardt, also too. Both of them really impressive seasons. And then sophomore Madison Wood in the circle has improved tremendously. I think that Larned's probably going to have their best season in at least 7 years, maybe even 9 or 10. Nice turnaround for them. Quick note on Great Bend softball. Sometimes early season results just kind of get glossed over some. But Great Bend lost to Manhattan softball to start off this season and took 3 straight losses. Manhattan right now is the best team stats-wise in Kansas for all classes. Manhattan was 15-9 last year. They returned the bulk of their key players. But Great Bend got a couple of WAC wins this week. I believe they face Dodge City 3 times next week. And Dodge, quite honestly, has really struggled so far this season. Great Bend softball was a 3-win team last year. I believe they're 3-3 right now. They should be 6-3 here soon. I thought that Coach Minton's team was going to be much improved this season, and that could go that way.
Saw a matchup between Pratt and Hoisington in softball this week.
Yeah, a huge CKL matchup. Pratt is really good. Coach Mike Forsey has been there for a very long time. Hoisington graduated several key seniors off of that state qualifying team. This is going to be a big early separation kind of matchup. Pratt won both. Pratt has not lost this season. They've got Jones, Tice, and they've got a number of players back. I believe they lost in the regional championship game last season. Hoisington is still going to be pretty solid. I mean, I believe Jordan Boxberger is back. Beck is back. Obviously, some of those great seniors from last year's team graduated. Tim Boxberger with Hoisington has always done a really good job. But I think you can say right now that Haven and Pratt, of course, Haven is loaded. And Haven returned basically their entire team. They haven't lost yet either. But I think in kind of the CKL and kind of that overall region right now, too, Haven and Pratt are probably your two best teams so far.
What do you think about WAC softball? Great Bend getting by Liberal in a couple close games yesterday. And you mentioned Dodge City struggling a little bit right now, but what about Hayes? They ended a long losing streak against Garden City, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Garden City has had a stronghold on WAC softball for the last several years. I believe Hayes High was 1-15 against Garden City softball in the last 7 or 8 years or so. I think they had lost 5 straight games. You know, Hayes beat Garden City in the first game this season. Coach Abby Gillum, this was actually her second stint coaching this program. She's a Hayes High grad. They are a really experienced team. Aubrey Thomas is a statewide junior to watch. She actually works out at the same indoor facility that my daughter's team does. And so we've seen her several times. She's a really just physically strong girl. Pitcher, hitter, has one JUCO offer so far. In that Garden City win, she pitched a complete game and also homered too. Hayes High has a couple of wins against Dodge City. They did lose twice handily to Valley Center. And Valley Center might be the single best team in Kansas talent-wise. I mean, Manhattan so far has shown it in results. But Valley Center, 8 college signees and 3 Division I players. They've got a Hooper girl. This would be Kevin Hooper's daughter. Of course, Kevin Hooper, a great Shockers player, has been another baseball, jobs. That's his daughter, and she is a Minnesota commit. So wow. Valley Center is a really amazing team.
Connor Nickel with us here on the program. We're going to switch to coaching because, well, a lot of times, coaches' kids are pretty good players. And when their parents, if their parents' mom or dad is a coach, as you wrote in your latest article, it can change the landscape of high school teams. And we're seeing that down in Inman with what's going on with that coaching situation. And kind of give us an update there. And well, somebody might be looking for a, girls volleyball and basketball coach, might want to help their football and basketball teams on the boys' side.
Yeah, I think this is a huge story. So the last couple of years, I've done kind of the spring coaching story because all of these coaching changes come out spring break, state basketball, and they kind of get overshadowed. And the major one, the one right now, Megan Heckel, who is the Inman volleyball and girls basketball coach. Volleyball last fall led them to a state Final Four appearance. That season, 25-plus years. She was non-renewed for her coaching positions. Inman, and I've explored this with multiple sources, has not given an official reason why, but you can kind of connect some dots on who's related to who on the school board and not, and, you can kind of go from there with things. But Coach Heckel comes from a long-time coaching family, is just an amazing coach, has done a great job down there. It's hard to find volleyball, certainly coaches, and girls basketball coaches too, who also teach junior high. I mean, people will always say finding junior high teachers is very, very challenging, and Coach Heckel kind of fits all of those bills. And then her oldest son is Tanner Heckel. I mean, Tanner Heckel is an amazing 3-sport ball player. Of course, the quarterback for Inman last fall, over 400 yards total offense in the state championship game. Inman loses on basically the game's final play, takes second. Inman will likely be top 3 preseason in 1A next fall if Tanner Heckel and his family decides to stay. If they move, he could elevate a program by a lot, and that may not even be his best sport. Basketball consensus, first team, all-state, top 5 2A. He has already exceeded 1,000 career points, and that may not even be his best sport. Track, second place in 3 events last spring. Inman was third at state track. outstanding 40-inch jump. And I've seen Tanner Heckle play. This guy is an incredible specimen. And whether he stays at Inman or if they move, he has 3 much younger sisters. This is going to be a fascinating story to watch here.
And that's still up in the air. I mean, according to Tanner's mom, Megan Heckle, he really likes the football and basketball coaches at Inman.
Yeah, exactly right. Coach Lance Sawyer, who's been there for a number of years, has turned around this program completely. 5-6 years ago, Inman football did not win a game. Wow. And then he steadily built this. They went playoffs, state semifinals, and then second the last 2 years. I know Coach Sawyer very well. Coach Freeze in basketball has done a really good job. They've been a consistently quality D team. They had a Final Four run a couple of years ago. They actually lost in the Mountain Ridge sub-state this year. Of course, Mountain Ridge won state. But, yeah, what they decide, she really enjoys her teaching. She really enjoys, where they reside. She would love to coach. Of course, some people would know who her dad is. Aaron Patrick is her dad. Of course, coached Hutchinson Central Christian for an extremely long time and was at Otis Bison for a very short time. And he coached volleyball and basketball. He now holds both of those roles in Missouri. She goes, coaching has been in my blood for a very, very long time. Her sisters, her brother, very accomplished too. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this kind of goes.
Some football coaching shakeups in the Mid-Continent League for sure.
Yeah, certainly. There was an expectation because of a variety of reasons that Jay Harris would be resigning from his TMP position, but he would still teach. That was borne out fairly quickly. Grant Stevenson, who is an LR graduate and counts Coach Shane Cordell among one of the best people for his life, was at Plainville. He actually lives in Hayes. His oldest son is part of the TMP school system. A very natural fit. Plainville's kind of going through, they have just graduated quite a few. Coach Stevenson from Plainville to TMP. And then Alex McMillan, I think kind of a surprise in some quarters. Was a former Victoria assistant, was the offensive line coach when Victoria won the state titles in 14 and 15. Went to Madison, 7 great years there. Never made it to a state game, but consistently a 10-win program. Has now come back to the Hayes area and will take over Plainville. I think a lot of people are like, wow, that is a home run get for Plainville and a home run get for TMP too. And then, of course, at Smith Center, a lot of scuttlebutt, and I know John Betts can talk a lot more about this. But Mike Rogers, Smith Center all-time great, KU player, long-time Smith Center assistant coach, head track coach, takes over the football program. Darren Sass elected to step aside, and now Coach Rogers will take over there.
Awesome stuff, Connor. We appreciate it. And where can people read everything that you're pumping out? Like I said, I thought you were going to take it easy now, but that's not the case.
Yeah, certainly. Sports in KS, my Twitter feed has several things. We had a couple of shorter pieces up this week on Dighton track and a few things. But our first kind of major softball story landed today, Friday, as notes on about 15, 20 teams. Mentioned the coaching changes, too. That story will be up here soon. You guys have a happy Easter to all, and I appreciate Webby and just everybody here.
Connor, appreciate it. Connor Nickel, the one and only here with us on Sports Day. Speaking of Smith Center, John Betts up next here on the show.
To farm. Some diesels, like Cenex Premium Diesel, were born to fuel. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn to reduce particulate matter and keep filters cleaner for longer. Fuel your equipment like a pro with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and leave typical number 2 diesel to the amateurs. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Whether you're fighting a fever or think you need stitches, let the experienced team at the University of Kansas Health System Convenient Care Walk-In Clinic care for you. They can treat any minor illness or injury without an appointment. Hours are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. For quality care when you need it, visit the Convenient Care Walk-In Clinic at St. Rose Medical Pavilion in Great Bend. Learn more at kansashealthsystem.com/Great Bend.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Day here, and we just heard from Connor Nickel, another guy that's full of knowledge, and that is John Betts. He is publisher for Kansas Pregame Magazine. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm just like the University of Nebraska, where the N stands for knowledge.
You have two N's on your helmet, so I mean that's a double N'er. So
yeah.
Hey, okay. Since Connor Nickel previewed it, he was running over some of the different coaching changes, and okay, if a coach leaves a particular program, typically, well, not typically, sometimes they have kids that are pretty good, but so that's kind of the topic, but. Some changes in the Mid-Continent League, but he wanted to leave that Smith Center one to you. Mike Rogers taking over the Smith Center Redmond program.
Yeah, he's only been a teacher there for like 30 years. He's actually a second or third cousin. So he was a junior running back on the 1982 state championship team, and my brother Curtis Betts and one of your old colleagues Jeff Nelson or Jeff Tyler were part of that team, and that was the first one that won a state championship in '79. They went and lost 6-0 to Sacred Heart, but. Mike was truly one of the best running backs the state of Kansas has ever seen. As a junior, he rushed for 2,400 yards, and I'm pretty sure he was a parade All-American. And he went on to play at KU. And of course, people may also be familiar with the Rogers name from Colt Rogers, who was a great athlete in his own right, one of the best wrestlers the state of Kansas has ever seen. But Mike is like 6'3", and Colt is like 5'6". So, which their mom is shorter. That's where the height disparity comes from. But Mike has been coaching track forever, has been an assistant football coach forever, and the deal will be that not much will change at Smith Center. I mean, and I think this is an interesting topic, and I'm sure we don't want to spend the whole time talking about this, but Smith Center is potentially a tough situation to hire for, because the expectation, not so much to win, I mean, that's really incredibly, tremendously important, but the expectation that you run the bar to bone kind of probably takes some people off the table. I mean, even the guys in the alums of the modern era, Kyle Shank, won at St. Mary's last year, and they threw the ball like 300 times or something like that. So, if he was exploring going back there, he's probably going to want to do things the way he'd like to offensively, and it would take the community a while to get behind that. And if it didn't work, early on, then the community would not be behind it.
Okay,
but Mike will do a great job, and it'll be a smooth transition.
So had to be a community referendum when they went to the pistol? I mean, it looks like the wishbone, but the quarterback.
You want to know the reason that they could do that and get away with it?
Well, why is that?
Brooks Barta was running it at Holton and winning with it.
Okay.
Also, I should say, if any Smith Centerites are out there listening, I hate the pistol. I wish they would go back up under center and run the reverse pivot, because I think it makes the faking better. But anyway, I mean, it seems to be working for them, so they haven't consulted with me on offensive schemes.
And I agree with that too, because it puts your fullback too far. It's too far back, and your backs are like 8 or 9 yards deep. I concur with you there, John Betts. That's a very good point.
And they should. I mean, everybody knows this by now, so I don't think I'm giving away any secrets. But the Barta-Bone is not true triple option. It's all called. So when the fullback gets the ball, he was told in the huddle he was going to get the ball. Yeah. When the off tackle back gets the ball, he was told. When he keeps, it was planned, and it would make. I mean, there's the potential for the offense to be even more effective if you put a good quarterback back there and that has the decision-making ability and actually ran the true triple and had him make the choices. Now, everybody out there, if there are Smith Center people, there are some of them right now that are getting very mad. They're probably throwing stuff at their radio or whatever device they listen to. It's worked okay. I mean, there's not. They don't need to. Nobody needs to feel bad. Nobody needs to get super upset with me. There's plenty of state championships. There's plenty of league championships. It's all worked out okay. But it's fun to kind of talk about some of those.
Well,
things.
yeah, it is. And then it comes. And the book I want to read is running play calls for 3rd and 13 at your own 25.
Do you know? I mean, we could spend the whole time talking about this. But I don't know if you know this or not, but so I graduated in '93, and somewhere in that late '80s, early '90s portion of Coach Barta's tenure there was I think he felt like there was a need to do some things for that specific down and distance that you're talking about.
Yes.
And all we really had in our playbook, there was a screen pass, there was a sprint pass. He added a draw play. So and I don't remember that. I remember installing it. Like, I remember being part of us running it for the first time. And I don't remember exactly how it went, but he may have even stood up there and said, people are going to think this is absurd because we don't ever throw the ball. So running a draw play, there's no, we didn't even have a straight drop back pass in the playbook, I don't think. But would you believe that I think when I was a senior, we ran that like 3 times, and every time it went for a 50-plus yard touchdown.
Well,
it was so fascinating. And then later on during the long streak in the 2000, the 2006 to 9 or whatever, they started running this single back twin set, and the story is he told the guys that he didn't even really care whether the offense could be successful. He was just so fed up with having to prepare for multiple formations from every team that he played that he wanted them to have to prepare for at least one other thing during the week.
Oh, well, okay, we've taken up quite a bit of time on it, but it's just awesome, man. The legend of Smith Center, it continues.
It's fun to talk about.
Yeah, especially if you were there. I mean, and face it. I mean, some of those Smith Center teams, you could have lined up backwards. It didn't matter what you were running; you were going to score touchdowns, right?
You know what the craziest thing is that the '97 team was, the '86 team was outstanding with Brooks Barta and Jeff Seminole. And then the teams during the streak, specifically the Joe Winshuffle, Braden Wilson, those two teams are widely considered to be like the streak one is probably considered to be number one. The 86 team is probably considered to be number two, but the 97 team would have contended with either of those teams, and they did. They lost to Silver Lake by a point and that that team had a guy that Andy Gwinnett went and played at the University of Nebraska. Kyle Shank is the all-time leading tackler in Trinity international history. Justin Montgomery was a junior and was an all Big 12 defensive lineman at K-State. I know it's a tough pill for those kids that are now 40 years old plus to swallow, that they don't have a state championship to their name, because they easily would have battled with those other two teams. But anyway, let's talk about something besides Smith Center football.
Well, okay. I don't think we have time to. So what we're going to do? Can you come back next week? I mean, I'll mention this, but one thing, Montgomery's team. That was the game, okay, because it was the game against Silver Lake, and time of possession, like Silver Lake had the ball like 3 minutes and 24 seconds, and it was a high-scoring game.
Yeah, 30. I think it's 35 to 34.
Oh, it was a great game. It was a great game, and it came down to the 2-point conversion. They didn't get it right at the end of the game.
And it was this amazing juxtaposition of Shannon Kruger, Lon Kruger's nephew, I think is at the time was the all-time leading passer in Kansas high school history, and the wide open spread offense that C.J. Hamilton ran against the wishbone. You know that the modern 4-3 that Smith Center runs is because of that game. That game was the reason they changed their defense going forward.
Yeah, Kruger would come out, and Silver Lake get a ping, 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 down, touchdown, and then Smith Center get and then Smith, and then they'd be tied, and then Silver Lake, ping, bing, 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 down the field, and then great football game. Okay, John, I'm going to have you back next week, but I want you. What are you delivering right now? You have gone into the spring sports season with Kansas Pregame Magazine.
We just wrapped up the spring magazine. There's a few deliveries out there being done today, and you can find. We'll go to Twitter. We have a list of locations that we're updating. I should hopefully have a complete distribution list out there tonight. And then now as soon as I get my billing done, now I'm headed right back into working on football.
Okay, all right. Very good. So we'll get you on next week, okay? Because I want to talk about Central Kansas Sports Collectibles, another venture you've got going on.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I want to talk about that, too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, hang on after the call, and we'll get your information, John. But
okay, sounds good.
We've got big time now. I've got a producer over here that's just doing the neck slash right now. So.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, all right. We'll have more Sports Day after this.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
The best way to keep up with today's changing world is with H&B Communications in Holyrood. H&B offers internet, TV Now, and telecommunication services for residential and commercial customers. High-speed internet through H&B provides speeds up to 1 gig with no phone service required. And TV Now lets you watch what you want to watch when you want to watch it. H&B Communications, 108 North Main in Holyrood. Committed to connection.
Attention Kansas high schoolers. Barton Community College wants to help you get ahead in your education and save money with new early college online savings. Starting March 20th, pay only $75 per credit hour on any Barton online course. That's a savings of up to $80. All online classes are eligible, including career technical and general education. Learn more at bartoncc.edu/earlycollege.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
When it's time to replace your old windows and doors, call your local Pella certified contractor, Empire Improvements. With a full line of Pella windows and door options, including affordable vinyl, durable fiberglass, and luxurious wood, Empire Improvements has an option for any taste or budget. No matter what Pella window or door you choose, you'll know it was installed right by a Pella trained and certified contractor. For the best warranty in the business, call Empire Improvements in Great Bend today at 620-603-0872.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson, joined today by Panther baseball coach Randy Beck. Coach, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Mike?
Pretty good for a Friday. We're going to start off. You guys had some big success. You guys got close against Capon, and they're up to number 9 in Class 5A, but then come home and sweep Hutchinson twice. How big is the confidence 4 games in?
Yeah, that was big, not winning, at least splitting right out of the gate. But we were close in game 1 against Capon. We kind of had a few errors that kind of hurt us in that doubleheader. But last week we played really solid defense. Even considering the weather condition, we came out and we hit the ball really well. That really helped our pitching staff out.
And that was going to be my next question, was we knew it was going to be windy, and I think right about 4 o'clock it really picked up. How big a factor actually was it all afternoon?
Yeah, it's, like I told the kids, there's no such thing as a routine pop fly when the wind's blowing 30. So stay behind the ball and communicate and help each other out. And I was pleased. I really was. Our outfielders played excellent, stayed behind the ball. I think we had one miscue in the outfield on the day, and they let their fundamentals work for them and communicated and did a great job.
In 3 runs, you guys won the first game 13-3, so that kind of tells me good pitching and good defense. Carson Umphris, all 5 innings, 3 earned runs on 10 hits. What was a big key for him?
He had a couple pitches in the zone. He doesn't walk very many kids. He's pretty steady. We're going to roll him out tomorrow probably at some point again, and then we come back with Hayes next week. So we're going to have to watch pitch counts. But he's been our most consistent pitcher on the mound right now, and he's got good stuff. So he knows how to keep the hitters off balance and works really well with that.
13 hits for you guys in game 1. Obviously, your leadoff guy's supposed to do just that. Tyler Stolzat's 3 hits, a double and a triple, 2 RBIs, 4 runs. How big's that setting the tone for you guys?
After coming off of 2 losses in the first doubleheader, where he hit really well too. But just jumping right in it, and we always want to score first. That's one of our offensive goals. And when he gets up there, I feel like he's got a really good chance of getting on and getting everybody going. And we got guys behind him that, can move him around and score him. So that's really important for that stuff. So he's been a really good instigator for us in the leadoff spot.
A couple other kids with doubles in that one, but the one that kind of stood out for me, Carson Poe's down there in the order. No hits, but 3 runs. Is that just kind of a bonus for you guys?
Oh, yeah. The bottom of the order did, produce for us last week, too. Carson actually, he had 1 hit. There's a mistake in the stats. He had 1 hit opening doubleheader, so that was his 2nd hit. But, we have a lot of role players right now, and they're coming in, and they're giving us good time, good minutes, and it's been great having that option.
Game 2, you get down 4-0 after 2 innings, but you're able to tie it in the 2nd, and then it's back and forth a little bit. 9 runs, 6th inning. The kids just kind of wake up there?
No. We had some balls that we hit good. We just weren't stringing anything together really early in the game, and then we got some back-to-back hits, and then, we got the momentum, and we just ran with it. So that was really good to see. A couple triples in that game. So, we hit some balls hard to the outfield fence, and everything just kind of worked together.
Talking to Panther baseball coach Randy Beck, 3 strikeouts in that game, too. Obviously, a bunch of hits. A lot of those, I don't think, were errors in the last 6th inning. How big just to keep the ball in play?
Well, I think the kids are starting to buy into the 2-strike approach, especially in weather conditions like we've been playing in. Put the ball in play with 2 strikes and, make them catch the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball is important to us. Errors happen. Anything can happen. You put the pressure on the defense when you put the ball in play. Just don't give them the easy strikeout.
And some people, myself included, maybe call the triple the most exciting play in baseball. Stat sheet shows 4 triples in one game for you guys. How does that happen?
Like I said, we hit the ball well. We hit some balls hard. A couple of them had a chance to get out. And actually 2 of those, I was wanting to send them home because the outfield's throwing the ball in against the wind. And, a couple of them had a legit, shot at it, but it was either 1 out or no outs. And I didn't want to take that chance because I had a good feeling that we're going to, score them from third. So I don't know if it's mad at me or not, but
going by the book too. 2-2 going into tonight's games at Liberal. What are the expectations?
We got it's WAC time, so we got to go sweep. If we're going to have a shot at the WAC title, then we have to sweep today. We have to sweep. And then we go to Hayes, or Hayes comes to our place, and we can't lose any. If you lose 1, there's still a shot. You lose 2, it might be a tie, but, it's settled down, and we're jumping right into, the WAC schedule right now. And, winning is important if we're going to end up, being where we want to be at the end of the season.
Panthers are 2-2, play tonight at Liberal. Coach, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
More Sports Day after this.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
At NextTech Wireless, we know how important it is to stay connected. You can keep the whole family connected without breaking the bank. Now you can get up to 1, 2, 3, 4 lines for $100. And that's not all. Bring your number to us and get a $100 Visa gift card. Only at NextTech Wireless, home on the range.
Now, in its 2nd decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. I just can't help myself, Hesh. I start talking to some of these guys, and then we start talking old times, and then,
John is so entertaining. I mean, I have a little bit of Smith Center knowledge because of my times at KSN, and I had to interview Barta after state championship games, and like you said, it didn't matter win or lost. It was kind of the same thing.
Good stuff today with Connor Nickel, and, we get Chet Coupland on, and all those guys they're freaks.
They are.
I mean, it's the only other. I
think Aaron's headed that way. Or Aaron Clark is headed that way.
Yeah, he's headed that way. Corson is, when it comes to track and field.
Olympic stuff.
And he's just something else. Don't forget this afternoon we've got Royals baseball. You said we ought to carry the Rockies.
Well, at least they win every now and then.
Well, they did win yesterday, 1-0 at home at Coors Field.
Who pitched? Do you know? What was it?
It was Freeland.
Oh, was it Freeland? Okay. Well, he's from Denver, so he's got that high altitude environment already.
Okay, so I know no one cares about my fantasy baseball team, but
we're going to hear about
it. So
it.
Josiah Gray's pitching for Washington. He got lit up in his first game, and I mean, he's been a prospect. He played at Preston for a couple of years before he got to Iuka. He got and he gave up one stinking run, and I don't get the win.
I'm sorry.
I'm not doing it.
That's
Colorado Rockies.
Well,
there's only four things wrong with Denver: the Nuggets, the Broncos, the Rockies, and the Avalanche.
Oh, come on. So would you do the Cardinals, St. Louis?
No.
Okay.
We've got the Royals. Back in the day when Cardinals were big out in this part of the country. I mean, I give Cardinal scores just because I'm a Cardinal fan.
I understand. There are Cardinal fans here.
Yeah, okay. Hey, we've got some good shows lined up next week, including more discussion on the turf, I guess, over at Larned. The Buddy Tabler interview raised a few eyebrows. So I guess the other side wants to speak, even though it looks like that's going to go through. But I think that's going to be on Tuesday, so I'm looking forward to that. We will talk to you Monday.